The day before the national pandemic, our house caught on fire. It felt like an eternity, like watching your dream home just burn and there's nothing you can do. We walked away with nothing. For me mentally, I was at my absolute low.
From a major setback, you were able to transform into finding purpose.
I prayed to God 3 days after the house burned down. I just need a sign that I can get through this. And I just remember sinking it and being like, I can get through this now. I got this.
Manda, the founder of Farm Fit Training, a girl from South Dakota, impacting people from all over the world.
I've always been into exercise. I started working out and I started flipping these tires and posting it on social media. May of 2020, I put this planking challenge together. I had 800 plus farmers across the world participate in this plank challenge, planking on barns, tractors, bison, cows. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this a business and open doors to Farm Fit Training February 5th of 2021. And here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Legacy and Billions. Today, I'm here with Manda, the founder of Farm Fit Training. She's got an incredible story that we're going to be diving in today. So help me welcome Miss Amanda to the show. Welcome.
Heck yes.
Let's go, girl.
Let's
Started
go.
off with that flex.
I know, I got
no
flex.
flex zone.
I got flex.
No, this is a flex zone for sure because you have a remarkable story, which is why you're here. And I want to share it with the audience to get to know you better. You know, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, and how you found success in your life. So why don't you go ahead and start and share with us your background story. I know that you're a girl from South Dakota. Now you're doing training online, impacting people from all over the world in your passion and purpose. So why don't you walk us through your story and how was that like getting started?
That is a lot to unravel.
Yes.
I'm going to be 100% honest. How much time do we have?
We got about 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Well, give us a good synopsis.
I'll give
summary.
you the man version, as my husband likes to say it, because I'm a talker, and he's
Gotcha.
like, man it up, girl. So
all right, let's do it.
for me, my journey actually started, I sold insurance for 11 years, door to door, with a company called Family Heritage. I loved it. And so I serviced rural America, which was cancer, heart, and accidental coverage. And again, I absolutely loved it. I did not grow up in agriculture. Like, my mom worked for UPS, my dad worked for the railroad. Like, he was the engineer, drove the train. And so, you know, I grew up in a smaller, big town, I guess you could say, 10,000 in western Nebraska. So I knew about agriculture, like it was part of our area and stuff like that. And out of college, I graduated college as a radiation oncology therapist. I do absolutely nothing with it. But one of the pulls for me going into the medical field was I really wanted to understand the body. Like, I love being able to help people. I'm a fixer personality. Like, I love to fix people and make them better. Yeah. And so, like, going into the medical field was natural. Like, I mean, especially oncology, that field is like a discovery zone. Like, they're coming out with new technology all the time. And so when I graduated, my first case, I'll never forget this, was a 6-month-old baby. And, you know, fresh out of college, I just emotionally was not ready for that. And I worked in that industry for 2 months, I'll be honest with you. And that's when I landed into selling insurance. And when I met my husband, I would say it's love at first sight.
Wow,
but I don't know
beautiful.
what he would say. He would be like, I met this girl. She was fun. So I ended up marrying him. He's a 5th generation farmer. So there's a lot of history in agriculture. I mean, the original Nig farmstead was founded in 1910. And it's really cool too, is like in his office, there's like a family tree. And it goes all the way back to like the late 1700s.
Wow.
So it's really, he takes great pride in, you know, agriculture and their family history and stuff like that. So when I moved to the farm, it was like I lost myself almost, because I kind of went part-time with insurance for a little bit, and then I kind of filled that farm wife role. And I quickly realized, like, that's not me. Like, I'm not the person, like, I love cooking, but like doing the bills, bookkeeping, you know, running around, like, that's not my cup of tea. Like, I needed something to be passionate about. And so I went back to insurance for a while. And then the day before the national pandemic, March 19th, 2020, our house caught on fire. So we just built our forever home half a mile south of the main farm. And I mean, we took our time. I mean, we built this sucker. It took us over a year to build exactly how we wanted it. And I'll never forget that feeling. Like that morning, you know, the next day was going to be the lockdown. So we're all preparing, like, what's going to happen? Like, next thing you know, we're told that we can't socialize. We have to stay home. You have to plan ahead for 2 weeks, which we know that 2 weeks didn't last 2 weeks. But for us, like, I was taking my son to his last day of daycare. I had a big proposal coming up with a company that morning. And I'll never forget, I had 8 missed phone calls on my phone from the point I left the house at 8 in the morning to the daycare place, which was only 15 miles away. And when I got on the phone with my husband, the first thing out of his mouth was, the house is on fire. You need to get home. And it just like kind of sunk in. It was like, wait, what? And I remember coming back home and driving down the driveway. And again, my fixer personality, I was like, I can put this house, like this fire out. And I instantly pulled up to the house, jumped out of the car, and I hit this post that knocked me flat on my back. And come to find out, if I didn't hit that post, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow.
Because the fire was already spreaded into the house, and ran around, and as you can tell, like like there was nothing I could do. I mean, I just saw the flames and it was like, I can't go in that house. And it took the fire department 38 minutes to get to our house, which, you know, in rural America, that's insane.
Yeah.
But for us, like, it felt like an eternity, like watching your dream home just
burn out into
just
ashes.
4 years. 4 years. We only lived in it for 4 years. Just burn, and there's nothing you can do. And so then they called another fire department, another one. And next thing you know, there's 4 local fire departments trying to put this fire out. And next thing you know, this excavator comes down the driveway, and it's like, it's too late. They ended up collapsing the house on itself, and we walked away with nothing. Like, I mean, my husband had stuff at the farm, you know, when he goes over and works on agriculture or does farming, he's at the main farmstead. So he had supplies, but I had absolutely nothing. I was in gym clothes, muck boots. I didn't even have my wedding ring on. I mean, I had nothing. And so for me mentally, like, I was at my absolute low. Like, I wasn't suicidal, and I want to make that super clear. Like, I've never been that low in my life. Like, I didn't want to get out of bed the next couple of days. I mean, luckily we had an amazing community that brought us clothes. And, you know, that's the thing is, like, we were just hitting into COVID. And so for them, they would drop the clothes off and be like, hey, I called you. Like, clothes are outside your door. I hope this helps you guys. Like, I had to borrow underwear from the neighbors.
Oh my goodness.
Like, for me, I'm a giver. So I'm a giver and a fixer. And so taking stuff or receiving stuff from other people was super hard too, because it was like, okay, I need to be humbled enough to accept this as a gift and realize, hey, like, they're really trying to help us, like, move through this. And yeah, the next couple of days, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to talk to people. I mean, I was numb. I didn't know, like, how to react, like what we just went through. And I understand, like, a lot of people don't understand, like, hey, it's materialistic things, like, you should be able to bounce back. But, like, we had everything in that house, like, from my son's first steps, you know, like, my husband's dad died from brain cancer, you know, years prior, and all his belongings in there. There's a lot of things that we can't get back. And that was the thing. And so I'll never forget, and I don't know if your listeners believe in God, but I totally do.
I do, and I hope you do too.
100%, is I prayed to God 3 days after the house burned down, and I was like, I just need a sign that I can get through this, because I'm struggling. I can't even show up to be a mom, and at the time we're staying with his aunt and uncles, and I had this vision to go look for my wedding ring, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go look for my wedding ring. It was like a 4,200 square foot house. It was a big home. And I remember coming up to the top of the stairs, and I told my husband, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to go back and look for my wedding ring. And this is 3 days after the fire. And he's like, okay, what do you need? And I'm like, well, maybe some metal detectors. I don't know if they're going to work. But he's like, well, how about I call some farm wives and they'll meet you there? And I was like, perfect. And I remember turning in, telling his aunt and uncle, and they're like, you're never going to find it. Like, that's a needle in the haystack. Like, don't even bother. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go back and check this out. And I remember showing up to the house. The ladies beat me there. We, you know, we hugged, and I started crying. Well, they were just amazing women, and they walked around the back end of the house with me. We had to jump down into the basement because I know where I put my wedding ring is in the master closet. And I was like, okay, if it dropped down 2 stories, it would be like right here. So we started shuffling around, and we instantly started finding costume jewelry. And it was like, okay, maybe we're going to find it. And all of a sudden his cousin pops up and goes, I found it. And I remember turning around, and she literally found my wedding set. Like, it was burnt to crisp. I mean, the diamond was not even salvageable at this point. Like, I mean, it was just gone. And I just remember sinking it and being like, I can get through this now. Like, I got this. And as soon as we found it, it was the craziest thing too, Chris. Is like, it's almost like someone lit the bonfire all over again. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like you put out a fire and the next thing you know, it just starts to back up again. Exactly like that. It was just a calm morning, and then all of a sudden someone just lit the bonfire on our house again. And so we climbed out, and it was like, okay, we just did the mission impossible. Like, if you really think about it, we literally found that needle in the haystack. And so weeks after it, I changed my handle to FarmFit Momma. So FarmFit, MOMMA on social media. And, you know, I've always been into exercise. Like, that was my area of shining. Like, I've been super active. I'm very competitive. So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it twice.
You won't prove them wrong. Yeah.
I will prove you wrong and do it twice.
Let's go.
And so my husband knew that. My gym was at our house. You know, and in 2020, gym equipment was liquid gold. It's like, how do you get a piece of equipment? Because everybody was buying it out because everybody was stuck at home. And so my husband went to our junk pile, because every farm has one, and he would bring me these random pieces of gym equipment, like not gym equipment, but tractor parts. So next thing you know, I had like for example, a weight off of our Salfer machine, which is like a digger, if your audience doesn't know what that is. And so he would bring me these weights and like tires, and I started working out, and I started flipping these tires and posting it on social media. And I was honest too. Like, I told people on social, like, I'm struggling big time right now, but this is how I'm working through it. Because like, I really had 2 choices. My first choice was, hey, let's work on my mental health. Let's work on, you know, my physical strength, because you can't work on your physical strength without tapping into your mental health. Like, they're intertwined. You can't work on one or the other. And it was like prescriptions or drugs or alcohol, you know, if you really think about it. Like, I mean, I even went to the doctor, and the first thing he pushed at me was antidepressant and anxiety pills. And I was like, I'm not going to take those. I'll take them. But I just finally actually digged them out of our bathroom and threw them away, because I never took them.
Good.
But yeah, I just started posting online. People ask me questions. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so then in May of 2020, I put this planking challenge together, and I wasn't certified at the time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something online. I'm going to throw this planking challenge together and just see how it goes. I had 800 plus farmers. I don't even know the exact number, across the world. We're talking Australia, UK, Canada, participate in this plank challenge. And they were planking on barns, tractors, bison, like cows. Like, it was just insane. And it really opened my eyes to how there's just such a massive gap between physical and mental health in the agriculture community. And so then I did a couple more challenges, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this a business. Nobody is doing this, and our community needs it. And so I went, and later that fall, went and got certified, and I never thought I would launch a fitness business 10 months after being at the lowest point in my life, and opened doors to FarmFit training February 5th of 2021, and here we are.
Woo, that's incredible. My God. What a beautiful freaking story. So from a major setback, your house burning down on fire, you losing it at all, and being at the lowest point of your life, you were able to transform into finding purpose, starting your own business, impacting the community, doing what you love. That is just remarkable. And if God didn't do it, then
I wouldn't be here without God.
Amen.
I would not. If I didn't find my wedding ring 3 days after the fire, I totally wouldn't have done this route. Like, I mean, I've always, you know how you always have those goals where you're like, oh, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do this. And you're like, one of these days, and you keep pushing it off. Like, I mean, in college, I have a health promotion associate's degree. I mean, my bachelor's is in physiology, you know, so it's in the fitness realm, I guess you could say. And one of the goals I was always going to do was like, I'm going to start a fitness business. Like, I always said that, like, I want a gym. And yeah, I never thought it would happen in 2021. Like, it was one of those things that was in the distance horizon. It was like, oh, I'm going to do it one day when it makes sense.
And so do you feel like that event pushed you into actually pursuing that much quicker? Because you're like, one day I want to do it. It's a goal. But then this happened and you found yourself in a position where you had to do something. And I guess you were inclined to go into fitness, and then you shared it, and it happened faster than you thought.
100%. 100%. Like, I wouldn't have launched my business. I wouldn't have, I was comfortable. Like, insurance, I was making six figures. I was number 1 in the nation. Like, I mean, I could sell
number 5 or number 1? 15?
I was number 5. Well, I was number 5. I'm number 1 my first year. And then I kind of, so my first 2 years I was number 1. And then I met my husband year 3, and that's when I kind of backed off.
Got more into the mommy role,
and
family.
then I was number 5. And kind of did that route. So, I mean, I can sell bubblegum to a bum. Like, I mean, I know how to sell. And I loved it. For me, it was with insurance, it was like still filling that void. When you go through a medical crisis, what's the first thing you think about? Is money. It's like, how am I going to afford this? Like, where am I going to go? Like, is my insurance going to cover it? And so the supplemental company that I worked for, we basically give money to people in the time they need it the most so that they can focus on their health and not the expenses that are attached to it. And so, again, giving back to it, it helped fill that void for me where it was like, hey, I'm helping people. I mean, I've had claims when I worked with them. I no longer work with them, but I mean, I had $250,000 cancer claims.
Wow.
Like, helping families go through that. And so, I mean, I've been on every spectrum. I've been the person that helps on the medical side to the financial side, if you look at it, when it comes to cancer, heart, or accidental. But then this is more like, hey, preventative. Like, are you going to want to be that 80-year-old in a nursing home sitting in a wheelchair? Or are you going to want to be an 80-year-old active, fit, doing pull-ups, push-ups, like, well into your 80s and 90s and living life to the fullest?
Number 2.
Yeah. Everybody's like, number 2. I don't even need to think about it.
Awesome, Amanda. Well, to the people that are going through a setback or a struggle right now, how would you advise that they navigate through their circumstances?
I would tell them to look into a fitness journey. I really would. And I'm not trying to preach it. Like, I mean, I might not be your cup of tea. I work strictly with agriculture industry. I'll be 100% honest. Like, you got to be tied to ag. But at the end of the day, everybody's tagged to ag. Like, you eat food, right?
Yeah.
You're tied to ag. So if you think about it, like, everybody is. But I would tell them to start working out. I really would. Like, that's the best way to tap into your mental health. It's not a prescription. It's not a drug. When you start to feel your body and start to push it and push your own limits, it's like you unrelease this like inner beast of yourself, this new version, and you become this unstoppable force. And a lot of times when we're talking about, like, for example, confidence, a lot of people are like, oh, that guy's confident. And it kind of has that cocky notation to it where people take it as a negative thing. And it's like, no, confidence is a beautiful thing. And especially in agriculture, a lot of people need it because we're businesses at the end of the day. A farm is a business. It is a self-run business. And so you need to have confidence. And when you have confidence, it's not being in comparison to somebody else in the room. It's believing in your own abilities and what you bring to the table. And so, like, for anybody out there that's struggling, I would tell them to connect with a fitness program, reach out to a local gym, like, do something physically for yourself and take that time for yourself. It's not being selfish. You're investing in yourself. And a lot of times we forget to invest into ourselves first before we give to others.
100%. I resonate with that, and I know that fitness absolutely changed my life, my confidence, my income, my relationships, every aspect of me, because this is the temple, right, that the Spirit of God lives in. So we need to take care of it, nourish it, because it's our bodies that get us to take action on a day-to-day basis. And they say if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, they pay good. And I think it also really starts with your body. And if you feed the mind, the body will follow.
100%. And you can't pour from a half empty cup, but you can pour from a half full.
Hey, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how would you define success now? Because you are in a niche that not many people are in. And so what is your definition of success? What does success mean to you?
I was actually just talking to somebody named Drew about this. Success for me is helping people achieve their dreams. Really, yes, there's a financial success component. Yes, we're super successful in that area. Like, I never thought I would run a 7-figure business 3 months after launching it. I get it.
You did 7 figures within 3 months?
Not 3 months, 3 years. Sorry,
3
I said
years.
that wrong.
Oh.
I said that wrong.
No, it's
3
totally
years.
okay. I was
3
going
years.
to say.
Let's correct that. But, success for me truly is the client. I absolutely love watching people come in, low confidence, insecure with themselves, never picked up a weight in their life, don't even know how to fuel their body correctly, tired, sluggish, no energy. And all of a sudden they start to plug into our systems and they start to lift weights. They start to dive into their nutrition solely because we teach something called macronutrients. Big word, Greek, actually I think it's Latin. You're focusing on the protein, carbs, and fats of foods because that's how you feel your body to be the ultimate best. And we teach something called high protein into that. And so when they start to feel themselves, they start to track it, they start to notice this switch. And it's really cool. It always happens super fast when they start to plug in about week 2, week 3. And then next thing you know, they're running I have a client that's never ran a half marathon in her life, signed up. I have another client that does mud runs now, never done a mud run in her life, signed up. I have Min, for example, one of my farmer guys, he's now able to lift tires and walk across a farm route without running out of breath. And, when he started my program, he was 400 pounds. He's down to 280. And weight's not obviously the thing that you need to look at. You need to look at, especially in a weight training program, it's a horrible way to measure progress, let's be honest. You got to look at progress photos, measurements, and then we do something called a benchmark day. It's a physical test on repeat. But again, he's lifting heavier. He has more muscle mass. He feels confident. He sells molasses across the world. That's his title. So he's always on the road. So you can do it. And one of the things I always heard, and I can't even remember, I read it in this book, I'm going to slaughter this. So if it's easy, it's not great. If it's hard, it's great. The hard things take time and take patience and take energy, and you have to keep diving into yourself. If you can't pour into yourself, it's hard to pour into others.
Right. And so your definition of success is being able to help other people achieve their dreams, and you find fulfillment and purpose in the transformation that you bring to your clients and helping them, live healthier, better quality lives.
100%. Yes.
I love that.
I love how you man that up. Maybe I need to take lessons from you. My husband would be like, yes.
No, that was incredible. And so tell me a little bit about your journey when it comes to now the personal branding and social media side. When did you start to build this following? Because most people are like, wow, okay, maybe I'm working a 9-to-5 job. Maybe I'm a business owner right now, and I have this dream of this aspiration. I want to help people achieve their dreams in health, wealth, relationships, fitness, like you did, but I don't have a following. How did you start that journey to build a following in your niche with agricultural people, farmers, to then doing a challenge, having people sign up, be a part of your community? How do you build a brand that attracts people? What was that journey like for you?
Entrepreneurship is hard. Let's first and foremost point that out.
It's not as glamorous as it seems.
It is not. And I'm going to be honest.
The riches, the posting, what you see online, on the other side, it's, the sacrifice, the late nights, early mornings, sleepless nights, anxiety, stress, solving problems, challenges, tears, getting on your knees, praying, asking God. Yeah. It's so much more. So
firing people. That's part of it too. I'm going to be honest and blunt. Like, the first year of launching my business, it was really smooth selling because I had a mentor. I did do an entrepreneurship program and a mentor, and then she actually became my business partner, which later, that's a whole tornado in itself because I found out she was stealing from the business. I ended up having to sue her. That's a whole nother gamut in itself. But, if somebody wants to start, just start. It's just like fitness. You just got to start. When I started my social media, I had 1,000 people in 2020. 1,000 people.
Wow.
I think now I'm up to 100,000 if you combine all my, or more, if not more. But that's, for me, you can have a small following, but if you bring the value, you don't have to have a huge following. You know, a lot of people on social media think, oh, I need to have 100,000 followers, you know, to start making money. No, you don't. You know, if you're bringing the knowledge, if you're backing it up, if you're loving what you're doing, first and foremost, you got to love what you do. Then the rest will follow, you know, and people will see that. They'll see it shine through your posts, your personality, everything will come. So if anybody, long answer short, is just start. You know, don't compare yourself to somebody else either. Just because you see other fitness influencers out there on social media. I was just talking to you about wanting to start a podcast, you know. Most people would be like, oh my gosh, there's so many podcasts out there. Who
None
cares?
like yours.
Just start. you know, and that's the thing too, is it's just like, don't compare yourself. Just, if you want to do it, but do it for yourself, not for somebody else.
I love that. And so what makes you different from other trainers aside from the niche? What would you say is your unique value proposition? What is your unique differentiating factor? What would you say that makes you stand out?
I actually just got asked this yesterday, so I do know the answer to this. I do quick and effective. So like, for example, my workouts are 15 to 25 minutes. Like, I'll humble your ass in that time, and you'll probably cuss me out when you're done in 25 minutes. But there's so much case study that back that up, first and foremost. Like, they took two groups, 50-50. The first group of people, they are like, oh, you have 4 rounds, same movements, 4 movements, go. You'll finish about 25 minutes. They took the second group and they're like, we're not going to tell you how many rounds to complete, but you have to finish it in this time frame, which is 45 minutes. And they did this over a course of 3 months. And over the course of the 3 months, the people that had the shorter amount of time lost more fat, built more muscle, and had more improvements than the ones in the longer time frame, because they pushed themselves. They did progressive overload. And so that's one of the things I specialize in, is my workouts are quick and effective, like 15 to 25 minutes, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, go. And then we couple that with nutrition. So like, I teach you how to balance your macronutrients. Like, I actually created a system on macros, because a lot of people want to like understand macros, and they're like, how am I supposed to eat 140 grams of protein in a day? Like, how does that break out? Well, the trick here, and I'll share it with your audience because I don't make this public because this is my system, is you focus on your goal macro percentages per meal. So like, if you had a 40-30-30 split, so 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fat, balance your meal within the goal macro percentages and be anywhere from 250 to 400 calories. You will hit your macros by plus or minus 10 grams at the end of the day.
It's incredible.
So it's just fueling your body through the course of the day. So I would honestly, my specialty is quick and effective, and teaching people how to fuel their body for success, making that sustainable system.
I love that. And so, mother, business owner, entrepreneur, wife, how do you start your mornings? Walk us through what are some of the habits that you've built in order to help you achieve peak performance in your life?
I am a routine. I am 100% a routine girl. So I don't even have to set my alarm clock. Every morning I wake up at 5 a.m., 5 to 5:30. Brush my teeth, wash my face, go up to our shop. So we live in the original farmstead house. We are looking to build here soon. This house is like built in 1910. So we're talking old, like there's critters in the walls. As long as I don't see them, I'm fine. But, I wake up, I walk up to our shop, which is like, 20 yards, if that. And I have this space that my husband let me, I carved out for my gym. And so, I drink water. First and foremost, hydrate yourself. Because if you think about it, you're sleeping at night, you're dehydrating yourself. Even a 2% dehydration can affect your memory, your mood, everything. So I drink typically about 30 ounces of water. Then I do my pre-workout and hit play. So I do my workout, and then after my workout during the school year that's when the boys would come up, and then I'd feed them breakfast and then get them to school. Now that it's summer break, they usually venture up later on, and I'm already done working out. And then after I work out is when I jump into clients, check our app, check to see what's happening, what I can help with. And then from there, I usually get myself ready. I always get ready. So one of the things I started doing is actually getting ready for the day, because I don't leave the farm. I'm home or I'm on the computer because we work remotely. And I always talk about this with my clients is I'm like, even if you're home all day, just go get ready because you feel better. Like, I mean, hanging out in your sweatpants and grungy clothes all day, just go get yourself ready for the day and you'll be more productive because you put yourself together. And so I started really pushing hard to incorporate that for me and my team is like when we do calls and stuff, I mean, not all the time, but most of the time we do get ready. And one of the things is, we'll get ready for the day with adventures, even though I don't leave the farm. I'm kind of a homebody. I'm an introvert, extrovert.
Selectively, like sometimes you want to go out, be out in the crowd, talk to people, engage and connect. And other times you're like, I just want to stay home with my family, kind of watch TV or...
I'm not a TV person, actually. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't have the time, I'll be honest.
So how do you wind down? Like when you're done working and you want to spend some time with yourself, like
I play with the kids.
With the kids?
Yeah, so my checkout time, I have a... summer schedule's a little different, but during the school year, my checkout time was 3:00 when the boys got home, and I would cook dinner. We always ate. I'm a huge component of family traditions, so we eat dinner every night at 6:00 as a family.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so we'd eat dinner at 6, and then I'd play with the boys, and then by the time I'm done playing with the boys and they're in bed, I'll be honest, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah.
Like I'm tapped out. Most of the time they'll ask me to snuggle. I have a almost 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm like, they're not going to ask me to snuggle much longer. Like it's getting to that point. So I'll snuggle them, and next thing you know, it's 2 a.m, and I'm like, well, apparently I was super tired.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And if you don't mind talking about family traditions, what are some values and principles you use in your household?
We have a lot of family traditions. My husband's huge into them as well. First and foremost, we always eat dinner. Dinner's non-negotiable, 6:00 as a family. Unless my husband's in the field, then we'll take him dinner at that time, and I'll bring the boys with me, and we'll eat in the field with them. Couple other traditions that we always do is like we try to make time at least once a week to do something as a family. That's not like with electronics, something fun outside. My husband does a lot of, I would say he's more into the family tradition, especially with agriculture. I mean, we're raised in the 6th generation. We already know it. Like they both already are like, I'm going to be a farmer. Like I'm going to take over the family business, which is super great. We're creating that legacy. So he does a lot of like teaching them about the tractors and teaching them how to take care of equipment and more that side of things, I guess you could say. I feel like we do a lot, but now speaking it out, it's like, I guess we only do like dinner time if you think about it. But we don't go to church on Sundays. So my view on, here's first and foremost, I grew up Mormon, and my husband grew up Catholic. Yes, we both believe in God, hands down, through and through. Now, I don't believe you have to be tied to a building to say you're spiritual. And that's kind of my line thinking. Yes, we talk about God. I pray every night with my boys. Oh, that's another tradition. I pray every night with my boys. We pray every night, and it's so cute. My oldest always says, thank you for the food. But we pray every night. They do vacation schools and stuff like that, or vacation Bible schools and stuff like that. But we don't go to a church on Sundays, We usually typically on Sundays just unplug as a family and do something as a family. Like this last Sunday we just got a ton of rain, and the boys went out in the field, took my husband's old 3-wheeler and the razor and went mud bogging.
Yeah.
It's just something like that. Something outside, nature, fun as a family, adventure. So, I mean, I'm sure we have more traditions. You just put me on the spot.
That's beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing that. One of the things you touched up on was legacy. How do you want to be remembered? What kind of legacy do you want to live or leave, I should say?
I want to leave like my husband's legacy is obviously agriculture. Like, I mean, that's our family business. He wants to carry it on to, our sons and their sons, their daughters, girls can be farmers. But for me, the legacy I want to leave on is my fitness business. Like my boys are little walking billboards. They really are. So like they'll go to a friend's house or like his aunt and uncle's, for example, And my youngest, who's only 8, would be like, Mimi, I have to have protein in this. Like, does this have protein in it? Like, they already know what healthy foods are. Like, they're not pop drinkers. They're milkaholics. That's what I like to say. They drink a lot of milk.
Got it.
They love milk. And, you know, my kids are super healthy. Like, it's really cool to have them be little bouncing boards. Like, they talk about exercise all the time. Like, they'll join me in my workout sometimes if they get up early. They talk about nutrition all the time. Like, my oldest, he just finished 5th grade. And he actually got in an argument with a substitute teacher about how much water you should drink a day and why it's important. And I was like, hey, you can't argue with a teacher, especially a principal, because she was substitute teaching.
Wow.
But I'm like, you're right, you know. And it's cool that they're paying attention to not only my husband's business but also my business. So it's like it's carrying that legacy of health, because, you know, I didn't come from a healthy family. Like, I love my mom, but she was that person that was always on the hamster wheel of diet culture, like yo-yoing, diet pills, you name it. Did not have a healthy relationship when it came to nutrition, you know, and her mental health is not the best either. And so, again, I love my family, nothing against them, and I wouldn't trade my childhood. I'm not saying that, but I want to be able to teach my children, you know, the values of 6 o'clock dinner, you know, how to fuel your body to be successful. Like, that's super important to me. Move your body, exercise.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, is there anything that I haven't asked that maybe you would like to share, open up about with the audience before we wrap up the episode for today?
I think I've done enough talking. You haven't talked hardly.
Well, I wanted to make this about you.
My last nugget I would like to share with everybody is just start. Like, you don't have to have a game plan. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just take that first step and start. It doesn't matter if it's going to, let's say you do a squat and it looks horrible. Again, you got to start somewhere. Everybody has a starting point. If you don't understand how to fuel your body, if you're overweight, you know, again, start eating healthy. Break it down. Like, start with breakfast. Start getting a gallon of water in a day. Just start.
I agree 100%. And so if people want to know more about you, follow you, get connected with you, where can they go?
They can find me on every social media platform except Snap. I got kicked off that one. No, I got hacked and I deleted it. But it's Farm Fit, and then it's MOMMA. Farm Fit Momma.
Momma.
Yep, and then I have a website, which I highly recommend if you haven't checked it out. It's pretty legit. We just rebranded it. It's farmfitmama.com.
There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Check her out. We'll see you in the next one.